another small medical procedure next week, so I thought it would be a good time to summarize briefly the state of our current research into UFO physics. And we've used alien-made crop pictures to help our research in many ways. Let's just start with this very simple one. Here in this crop picture, you can see a round disc magnet rising up this like a spiral shape through a little ring or some sort of pole. Now what makes it rise up is three-phase power. I've put a round disc magnet here on a pole, and when I turn on the three-phase power, that's a 50 millimeter magnet, 20 millimeter hole. We get to about 12 hertz. You can see the magnet goes up and down like that periodically. Just like this magnet we have in the crop picture. Next to step 2, they tell us when that disc magnet is put on a pole and goes up like that using three-phase power, 1, 2, 3, it goes to the center of a ring with lots of magnets spinning the opposite direction from the way itself is spinning. If the magnet goes clockwise, the ring goes anti-clockwise. So what we're going to do, we're going to need to put a ring of magnets around that central magnet. I've got 4 magnets here, and with a ball bearing, and they'll have to rise up through that while these things are spinning in opposite directions. It looks like that from above. Now, in order to help that magnetic flywheel spin, I've put a non-magnetic zirconium oxide ball bearing, inner bore 90 millimeters there, and you can see 4 magnets are spinning regularly anti-clockwise around the center, just as required by the crop picture. Actually, they're using clockwise three-phase power to do so from these 6-wire coils. We can speed it up quite easily any power we want, like this, up to about 40 or 50 hertz. So that is not an issue. Now these 4 magnets here are each north pole up. In the center, the ring magnet is south pole up, and you can see it's hovering right at the same level as those ring magnets because it's attracted to it on all 4 sides. Another crop picture shows this central magnet spinning around slightly off axis with three-phase power, 1, 2, 3, inside this stainless steel tube. And you can see it's wobbling in plane slightly off axis. If we look at the crop picture there at low power, you can see it's exactly what it's doing. It's wobbling in plane slightly off axis because of the hole in the center. 2 other crop pictures are very, very informative. This one shows us a schematic diagram for when a UFO is going very slow speed, almost landed on the ground, and this is when it's flying. And you can see in one case to the other, all of the things go up relative to reference circles, which are here blue and red. That goes up, the blue magnet goes up, and the outer flywheel goes up. Now let's look at them one at a time and see what happens. At very low speed, the magnet here is going up like we saw before, and the flywheel is holding it down, but they're very close to one another, and that's what we have here. The magnet wants to rise up, but the flywheel is holding it down in plane, so they're almost in exactly the same plane, and that's that green line we have here. We can see the forces here. For example, this off-axis wobble of a magnet using a slightly larger 60 millimeter magnet. You see it's very clearly spinning and wobbling in plane slightly off axis. It's still sitting completely in the plane of these magnets here. But if I increase the power a bit, it'll go below the plane and start jumping up like that until it hits the plane as a barrier. So that upward jumping force from below the plane to the plane, where it hits a barrier of attraction is just like what we see for the UFO flying. It starts below and it pushes the flywheel above. At low speed they're touching one another. At high speed of spinning, the flywheel gets pushed up because this magnet is pushing on the magnetic field in its center. Our final step is, of course, to make the red flywheel spin. So we're spinning the blue magnet. It's going up, pushing up. It's pushing upward on the red flywheel, which was down there. That lifts the whole UFO up, 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 up. But we haven't spun the red flywheel yet, although we know we have to, because when the magnet rises, that red flywheel has to spin anti-clockwise like this, because of the central hole. So that red motion is exactly the same as that motion. So now I've started it spinning slowly, anti-clockwise. We'll go a little faster. Say 20 hertz, which is a moderate spin speed. It gives a little gyroscopic force. And now we're going to turn on the central magnet again. Now before we even turn on the central magnet, you'll see as that one's spinning anti-clockwise, the central magnet is spinning clockwise. So much for the theories of physics taught in textbooks. You can have clockwise spin. You can have clockwise spin at the very center. You see it? And anti-clockwise spin outside. Okay, now let's put an orange ball on top so it doesn't fly across the room. We've got that thing spinning at 20 hertz anti-clockwise. We're going to turn three-phase power on clockwise from another power supply. And it starts spinning clockwise again, of course, at low speed, just like we saw in the front picture. Off-axis wobble. 60 millimeter magnet, 20 millimeter hole. As we go faster, it goes down. It's gone down below the plane, just like we saw it go down below the plane here. So it's further from the flywheel than before. You see? Now what we'll have to do next in our experiments is to get a scale like this, put the whole device on a weighing scale, and see how these motions affect its actual total gravity weight of those non-wire coils, 3 plus 6, plus the magnets and everything, just like for a real UFO. You can see the magnet sitting there, the flywheel sitting here. Now normally the magnet pushing up on the flywheel would not cause any overall gravity weight. However, in this case it's pushing up on a flywheel that's spinning at about 40 hertz in the opposite direction. Its relative velocity is about 80 hertz. So we may see non-Newtonian forces which change the interactions quite a lot due to the fast spin rates, and that's what we have to determine to understand UFO levitation. I've already seen such things, say, for studying lens levitation with spin. Thank you to the stars.